The Olympics are over. It is now time to race bait Caitlin Clark. And there's a bishop out there, Bishop Talbert Swan. Now, if he's a bishop, I'm Robert Redford in his prime, Tom Cruise with the hair, Denzel with the teeth. And I'm none of those. And this guy's about as much a bishop as I am a full head of hair. But anyway, I digress. Dr. Talberstein, who has over 217,000 followers, and I guess he hits them up for money all the time, he don't give a damn when it comes to unfiltered opinions on race, which we don't have a problem with, but he's just a flaming ridiculous racist. And we're going to give him some pub today because he's begging for pub, dying for pub. That'll be $10, please. Join my newsletter. Well, we'll talk bad about Whitey. That'll be $100 a month. It's all going to the church while I wear a Rolex and drive a luxury car because that's what bishops like Bishop Talbert Swan do. 1 for the till, 6 for me. 2 for the till, 12 for me. We know how this goes, Bishop. But anyway, he literally, listen to this. Now he's saying that anyone who is a fan of Caitlin Clark is a member of the KKK. He called Caitlin Clark with a K. Let's hear from the bishop. It's really pathetic. Caitlin Clark Klan. It's really pathetic, the bishop says. And these guys always look alike. They're always a little light-skinned. They always look alike. Like there was a bishop in Toledo called Pastor Pants. And the reason he was called Pastor Pants is he had a big following. And he got caught in a car with a woman that wasn't his wife with his pants down. Now, I don't know what they were doing, but ever since then, I don't give a damn if you're white, black, light-skinned, dark-skinned, pale. I don't care. The fake bishop is one of my favorite people. Ever since Pastor Pants, big church too. Big church right there on, 23, outside of Toledo. TV show, Pastor Pants. Oh, man, I love bishops. I do. They're my favorite. This guy's a bishop. I'm a bishop. You're a bishop. It's really pathetic that the Caitlin Clark Klan, self-proclaimed patriots, actually rooted against the United States women's Olympic team because their great white hope wasn't on it. Show me evidence of that. Show me evidence of that. Give me some evidence that white people, more so than anybody, did not root for the United States Olympic team. I would argue that white people and most everyone, well, guess what? They didn't care. See, Pastor Pants here put out that 20 million people watched the Olympics on a tweet, except he got it wrong. It was the men's team that 20 million watched. But Pastor Pants is trying because Pastor Pants here is a guy that is the typical, absolute typical, as Eddie Murphy would make fun of in his comedy show, crooked-ass dipshit pastor. No, wait, he's a bishop. I'm sorry. Might as well call yourself Pope. Pope Pastor Pants Talbert. That's what he is. He's the Pope. Yeah. I'm a bishop. Give me money. I'm going to drive a Rolls. Give me money. You know, movies have made fun of these clowns for years and years and years and years, and I love it. I don't know if you're allowed to anymore, though. Movies made 70s, 80s, early 90s aren't allowed to be made fun of African-American preachers and white preachers. What was that show on HBO? They made so much fun of the white preacher. It was great. It was fantastic. I love making fun of the fake preacher because they're the worst among us. Well, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the worst among us because they steal from all of us and give to themselves. But it's the same thing with these pastors. But now if you are a Caitlin Clark Klan member, you're just a bad person. Because Pastor Pants here, give me money, give me $1, give me $1. Find one person who did this. Clickbaiting hoax master. Has nothing to do with race. Once again, your racism is showing. Well, of course. Look, if you follow this clown, if you follow this stereotype, then you know his racism is showing because that's all he's got is racism. See, you can't take this guy serious. You just have to laugh at him. People were not rooting against the United States. However, they were ready to pounce if the team lost. Well, tell me where that doesn't happen. Hey, look, New England Patriot fans have won more Super Bowls than anybody. But when they lose, were they ready to pounce last year? Of course. Chicago Bears, Chicago Bulls, Boston Celtics, whoever. You lose, we pounce. That's the way sports is. Doesn't matter whether it's Caitlin with a K, Clark with a K, Clan with a K. Doesn't matter. It is the way the world works. Hey, man, you didn't make the Final Four. Hey, man, you suck. Okay, everybody sucks except the fat guy sitting on the couch or the guy in the media. You cannot take these people seriously. You suck as a bishop, but you are one hell of a race baiter. The bottom one says, Satan must love your ass. See, that's taking Pastor Pants here too serious. That's taking this guy like he actually has some type of meaning. This guy has no meaning. This guy has no stature, but it's time to race bait Caitlin Clark. I said it yesterday. The WNBA and the commissioner admitted Engelbert that she was not ready for the tsunami that was Caitlin Clark. Well, it drives everybody nuts. Not everybody. The African-American world outside of basketball and only African-American women inside of basketball that Caitlin Clark's so good. It doesn't drive African-American men inside of basketball or African-American women that aren't part of the WNBA that Caitlin Clark's so good. There's a very small percentage of people that it bothers. WNBA women, apparently WNBA coaches, and pastors and race baiters. Makes them crazy. But it gives them something to talk about. It gives the race baiter something to say, hey, look at me. I'm Pastor Pants. And next thing you know, boom, we got to go about the business of race bait. Look, if you're a Caitlin Clark fan, you're probably a Caitlin Clark fan because somehow, some way, her basketball ability, her grace, her handling of all the BS around her probably spoke to you. Now, I get it. Not everybody is a Caitlin Clark fan, and not everybody should be. The righteous gemstones. Thank you, Nick. That's it. The righteous gemstones making fun of pastors. White. Oh, it's so good. So good. But anyway, so pastors like this Talbert guy, Talbert Swan, they got to do this. How else are you going to know him? Now, there are other pastors. There's one in Indianapolis, Charles Harrison. He goes around the community trying to keep it safe. Goes on marches. Not marches like, hey, we're going to burn stuff. No, he gets his guys and they kind of patrol neighborhoods. That is a good dude. But bishops like old Bishop Talbert, Bishop Talbert has nothing that he can do other than race bait, and it's glorious. It's fun to watch, but don't take him seriously. Don't even think about taking him seriously. See, when you respond to his stupidity, you're taking him seriously. When you laugh at his stupidity, that's when you're in business, and that's exactly what I do. I think he is one of the funniest dudes on Twitter. Seriously, I think he's one of the funniest dudes. Now, here, oh, wait. What? See, let me ask you a question. My phone just said, I didn't say, hey, Siri. I didn't say that. If you don't think they're listening, you're nuts. They're listening to every single thing. Talbert says blacks for Trump are like roaches for Ray. 20 million people watched the USA win the Olympic women's gold medal, but they weren't going to watch to see Caitlin Clark. Wait a minute. No, he's wrong. No, he was wrong. He was wrong. It's really pathetic that the Caitlin Clark clan, self-proclaimed patriots, actually rooted against the U.S. women's Olympic team because their great white hope wasn't on it. There you go. Here's another lie from Pastor Pants. U.S. women's basketball won the gold medal and Olympics in Paris, shattering attendance and viewership record. So much for no one's going to watch because Caitlin isn't on the team. No, they didn't. I'm sorry, they didn't. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. They didn't. But if you say it loud enough and you have people afraid that a guy like Pastor Pants is going to call you out, well, you won't respond. No, they didn't shatter any records. They didn't shatter viewership records. They didn't shatter attendance records. In fact, their first game was the lowest attended game of the Olympics. Oh, I love a good bishop. I do. I think a good bishop gives you content for days and days and days. We'll keep you abreast of the flaming idiotic racist that is Bishop. I'm a bishop, damn it. That's what I'm going to start doing. I want everybody to refer to me as Bishop. Dan Dakich. What a fucking fraud this guy is. Bring it, Bishop. All right, next. Mina Kimes. Mina Kimes is America's DEI hire. Mina Kimes has never been in a locker room other than to ask questions or maybe get an autograph, maybe a picture. Mina Kimes wouldn't know a football, whether it is stuffed or blown up. But Mina Kimes, because she is the perfect combination, a soft-spoken, fairly intelligent Asian woman, perfect for ESPN. You got to put her on TV. And she's okay on TV. I mean, her comments are stupid, ill-informed, as they should be. She said something about the Colts, and you're like, what? See, what I do is, if I know something about the subject and I find that the person talking about it is so ill-informed, you just go, ah, huh? Then I disregard every other comment, so I disregard every other comment here. Here's what my boys had to say, because anything Mina Kimes says resonates with the stupidity in the sports media world. Well, Mina Kimes seems to think Tim Walz's coaching career is the key to beating Donald Trump in a presidential election, while also making a comparison to head coach of the Lions, Dan Campbell. Let's hear from the DEI one.
I do want to take this outside of politics briefly. There's something to me really important about seeing someone like this modeling a different kind of masculinity that we just haven't seen. And I think we're kind of seeing it a little bit in the NFL with the Kelseys and Dan Campbell, this idea that big, tough football guy isn't separate from showing emotions and empathy and that kind of thing. And I when I see them leading with, because Kamala, dude, yes, they're calling him coach and whatnot, but in the same breath, they're emphasizing this man, the year he was a football coach, also ran the Gay Straight Alliance at the high school. That's really powerful in a way that goes far beyond politics and electability, which is what the discussion we're having. There are very few models of like that in American public life.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I'll give you a difference. My wife said that guy's creepy. Now, my wife's been a lot of places. This guy calls himself like coach. He was like the third assistant coach on a team that won, and he was the guy talking about himself. So what Mina Kimes likes is lying. What Mina Kimes like is fraud. See, she thinks Dan Campbell's public persona is that of a tough guy that's really soft. That's where I just say she has no idea. Remember, did she like the toxic masculinity of Travis Kelce screaming like a madman at his coach? Is that what she likes? Huh. Interesting. I get it. Women like Mina Kimes in the media can get fooled. I do. Men in the media like Pablo Torre, Izzy Rodriguez, or whatever the hell his name is, they can all get fooled. They've never been in a locker room. They don't understand the mentality. They understand the external mentality, and they try to use cute little words. But the fact of the man is, Dan Campbell's a stone fucking killer. I mean a killer. And most guys, truthfully, that are tough guys, myself included, Bob Knight, people that I've been around, guys that played at Indiana, are kind of sensitive as well. But Dan Campbell is a badass, swearing, tobacco-chewing maniac. But he's smart enough to know that he looks like the typical meathead football coach. So he has to fool people like young Ms. Kimes here, like young Mr. Torre here, who don't know any different. They have no idea what these guys are really about. None. They can't. It's like coaching friends of mine, Rick Venturi and others, say they don't know, they'll never know, they can't know. There's no chance. But she gets fooled. I guess she forgot that Travis Kelce got in the face in the Super Bowl of his head coach like a screaming maniac. Jason Kelce was one of the craziest, drunkest, most ridiculous human beings alive. But the Kelceys, because they have their sister-in-law on, and they talk about nice things, and they seem like nice boys, and, of course, date Taylor Swift. This clown Kimes shows once again she doesn't know her ass from third base. But she talks like this, and she has a little bit of Asian in her, so she gets to keep jobs, and everybody gets to listen. It's really stupid. No, it's really stupid. And I'm sorry, I know that's offensive, but that's why she's hired. She's not hired for any inherent knowledge. She's not hired for any inherent insight, and you saw it right there. Really? That's what you want people to see, huh? A guy that lied about being a sergeant major or whatever, that's the kind of toxic masculinity that you like. A guy that was like the third coach on a small high school writing a book about him being a coach. But again, guess what? He was in the LGBTQ club. And I'm telling you right now, if he wasn't in the LGTB, whatever the hell it is, club, you wouldn't hear anybody talking about this guy. Smart move by him. My wife looks at it different, as I said. She's reading all this, watching Waltz, and nobody knows people better than my wife. She's like, that's Creeper. That's Stone Creeper. There's no question about it. And it's obvious to most of us that he is, but not Mina Kimes. She's dumb enough to think that Dan Campbell is an actual teddy bear. Dan Campbell knows he looks like a big fat meathead. So he's changing the narrative on him in public. In private, please stop it, stupid. I know people in that organization are like, hey, man, this dude will kill you. This dude has everybody scared to death. Smart. It's just another example of the stupidity. And it's just another example about why I'm here, to tell you what's real. But he's a nice guy, and he was the man of the LGTB community. Oh, shut up. Enough of that clown. Yeah, do we have the VO of Campbell doing push-ups? I think I already saw it. Yeah. I wonder if he was the commissioner of the LGTB ABCD community. There is no more left media website than Awful Announcing, run by Little Benny Koo. Little Benny Koo made a little money in Silicon Valley, and he started this website, Awful Announcing, and it took off, where he would talk about announcers. And then, of course, Little Benny Koo and his leftist crazy people, they showed their true colors. I've gone back and forth with Little Benny Koo and the people that are at Awful Announcing. They got lefter and lefter and lefter and lefter until right now they can't stop themselves. They can't. Awful Announcing breaks out the knee pads for Around the Horn. Awful Announcing boldly claiming that ESPN canceled the program. By ESPN canceling the program, it would hurt all of sports media. Let me tell you something. There aren't 5 people out there that even know when Around the Horn's on. I don't. ESPN should realize the true gifts and opportunities that it has with Around the Horn and what the show means to fans in the industry. It means nothing. But because they put a couple lesbians on there, because they let Sarah Splain flop her big ones on there, because they let David Dennis Jr. on there, whose only claim to fame was his daddy was a civil rights marcher, because they let Izzy Gutierrez and all they think this is cutting edge. No, they think it's cutting edge. What an opportunity, really? Oh, okay. I guess. I mean, maybe it was at first. Maybe it was interesting at first. You put a couple women's sports writers on there. But once you put Big Floppy on there, there's nothing interesting about it. And it moved way left, and you can't really have that. And it's tiresome. Remember the saying, everything woke turns to shit. And that show turned more woke than I don't know. The more woke, the worse. When Big Floppy, well, anyway, the show does a great job of embracing debate in a non-inflammatory way. It doesn't award hot takes. It awards nuance and perspective. Nuance is a big word to the liberals. Like, they're so smart. We're all, well, we don't get it. There's nuance there. I had a guy tell me when I was watching Archie Miller completely screw up Indiana's basketball program. Well, it's nuanced what he's doing. Oh, really? Okay. Another guy tell me when I've watched Chris Ballard for 8 years screw up the Colts. Well, it's nuanced. Yeah, everything's nuanced. Nuance simply means I'm smarter than you. You don't get it. Okay, you're right. It's nuanced. I mean, Big Floppy, Sarah Spain, selling her tits on the internet, selling a date to go to the Super Bowl isn't exactly nuanced. Writing a song about I want to F Steve Bartman after the Chicago Cubs, not left fielder, but sitting in left field, disrupted a chance for the Cubs to get to the World Series, isn't exactly nuanced. I mean, it's just not. You know, the people on that show aren't exactly nuanced. What was that guy's name, J.A. Adonde, comparing racism to genocide? I mean, it's not exactly nuanced. So that's all crap. It's left-wing garbage. And that's exactly what Awful Announcing is, left-wing garbage. provided a space for journalism of different race, ethnicity, and creeds to open up about their own experience on how that relates to hot sports takes of the day. People act like there were never black journalists before this. I mean, Ed Bradley was on my TV forever. O.J. Simpson, one of the first black journalists, the number one guy in the NBA forever, was Ahmad Rashad. I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, seriously. People act like no African American or nobody other than white guys was ever on TV before, and that's total crap. The most popular guy in L.A. for years and years and years was a guy named Hill. I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, honest to God, people act like African Americans or nobody was ever on your TV. Linda Yu was the biggest star in Indiana or in Chicago on television back in the 70s. I don't know if she's Chinese, Asian woman. I mean, what are you talking about? I can list 100. But everybody acts like before now, nobody was ever on TV, before George Floyd or before whatever. No African Americans, no minorities were ever on TV, and it's just total crap. We all still talk about Derek Thomas for the news, Channel 6. It was great. When Derek Thomas was on, everybody watched because he was investigating something. I mean, Jerry Harkness was the number one broadcaster here in Indianapolis forever after playing on Loyola's NCAA Final Four team. I don't know if they won the national championship, but they went to the Final Four in the 60s. I mean, there's a zillion of people like this. I mean, Quinn Buckner was doing games in the 80s right after he got done playing. I mean, don't even get me started on that. Honest to God. People act like, well, this never happened before. What are you, nuts? Around the Horn was embracing women in sports journalism before it was cool and gave reporters like Jackie Mullen, Jamel Hill, Mina Kimes, and Kate Fagan a chance to shine on the same level playing field as men. What are you talking about? You guys act like Jeannie Morris was a star in Indiana or in Chicago. What are you talking about? Like, people act like nobody ever got any opportunities ever until recently. It's total crap. Biggest star in Hollywood was Harry Belafonte, or singer, whatever, for a long time. I mean, I watch movies and I'm like, wait a second. Everybody acts like there was no African Americans or nobody. That's stunning. The voices of sports journalism or reporting on a beat day to day are rarely considered or interviewed during talk shows in today's world. What are you talking about? All you got to do is turn on our rival station. They got every beat writer ever. What's wrong with you? And that's been that way forever. I remember growing up in Chicago. How do you think Dan Bernstein got on the Score? How do you think Mully and Hanley became the number one show in Chicago? They're both sports writers. What is wrong with you? And this was way before Around the Horn. No, it's amazing. Viewers and aspiring sports journalists would be led to believe that the key to success in journalism would be to have the loudest take than the deepest well of sources. That's bullshit, too. That only started with ESPN and the debate shows. Back in the day, sports talk radio certainly had loud takes, but it was all journalists. All of them. What are you talking about? Mark Boyle was a play-by-play man, hosted a show for years. What's wrong with you? Why are you so full of crap? People act like nothing ever happened before they figured it out. No, it's all garbage. It's really all garbage. Without ATH, the nation wouldn't have understood the impact of Sports Illustrated's layoff on the future of journalism. So what? The effect of the Capitals and Wizards moving out of Washington. Sure they would have. They'd read the paper, you idiots. Why? Because somebody gets up there and tells their slant? You think that, whoa, we're educated? Those people on that show don't know their ass from third base. They're nervous on TV and they lie. Just stop. The importance of being aware of violence Asian Americans face, among other things. Really? You don't think that was reported? Okay. This show, unlike most, isn't afraid to tackle social issues and personalize them. Well, yes, and that's what I'm talking about. It moved far left in an incredibly biased manner. Thus, it's got to go. Because everything woke sucks, and everything woke gets gone, and everything woke gets broke. It brings light to the conversation that needs to be held, no matter how uncomfortable. They never made anybody feel uncomfortable. They just made you feel dumber. They just made you so damn ESPN is pandering to a bunch of people that never been in a locker room other than to ask questions or get an autograph or take a picture. This wasn't any deep show, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, Sarah Spain literally was the girl in the corner giving updates from a mic at a computer She got herself a job at ESPN doing nights on the radio. Nobody listened, but they had to keep her for years and years and years, and they threw her on there, and then women went nuts. Oh, my God, she's so good. But she's not. She hasn't had an interesting sports take ever. Come on. And has no pride selling herself to go to the Super Bowl. Oh, it's a joke, really? Guy makes a joke like that, he goes to jail. Talking about writing a song, I Want to F Steve Bartman. Yeah, that's a little insight into how Sarah Spain got into media. Get out of here. Bobby Barack is America's conscience. Bobby Barack is no joke. MSNBC, Jamel Hill, and other little gas bags are silent. No words on Joy Reid's racist rant, calling white Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona a mayonnaise sandwich. I thought they just wanted equality, these social justice warriors. I thought they just wanted racism out of our society. Jamel Hill and others. Brian Stetzler. Where are the gas bags on this? We know. It's only when the Republican says something. When the African American or the left-leaning crazy person, white or black, says something, wow, we don't want to comment on that. Wow, it's okay. That's why they have no credibility. I mean, let's just think about it right now. That's why you don't take seriously Jamel Hill, Brian Stetzler, or any of these folks that act like they're social justice warriors fighting racism. This is why you don't pay attention or take them serious, because you know it is a one-sided deal. This is why I am America's best broadcaster, because those of you that watch my show know I watch and listen to both sides. And I'll rip a Republican as I'll rip a Democrat, but these folks won't. If a Republican came out as racist, I would crush him. I would, because I was raised to think, but I was raised by teachers. That's a little different. But anyway, OutKick asked MSNBC for a comment on Joy Reid's nonsense. The network did not respond. MSNBC does not respond to inquiries regarding Reid's obvious bigotry. We've tried before, Bobby says. Where are media critics like Brian Stelter, Oliver Darcy? The two of them have long stalked conservative pundits to take their comments out of context to frame them as racist. Somehow, these two clowns have nothing to say about Reid's racist rant. Again, this is why you can't take them serious. You just can't. Now, look, being a white dude and not taking on an African-American woman is probably good business. It probably is. But you know what? I'm 62. What do I care? Joy Reid is a racist clown, and anybody that thinks about listening to her is probably the same. Now, I'm not the bishop, but I got to tell you, if you're listening and agreeing with Joy Reid and then getting mad about somebody on the right saying something even remotely close to even that, and you get all upset, you're probably a racist, probably biased. I don't know. Where is fellow race lady Jamel Hill? She's not to be seen. That's why you don't take her serious. Like, serious people go both sides. They take both sides. I got to hear the backstory. I got to hear it. If I'm going to criticize one side and I'm paying attention, I'll criticize the other, but that's not how this works. And you know that's not how this works. Hill defended MSNBC last month, claiming the network is neither radical nor left-wing, since her gal pal Reid accused Trump of faking his assassination attempt. Imagine that and still having a job. You better be a black woman. Likening GOP voters to Nazi. You better be a black woman. And calling white people mayonnaise. You better be a black woman. White dude does that? You got a problem. No white person in public would dare refer to another race using a creamy sauce. However, due to racial double standards, black Americans are allowed to do just that. Not smart ones. No, not smart ones. I know a ton of black Americans, and the smart ones, they're like, that's stupid. They all know Joy Reid's a fraud. They all know Joy Reid's a fake. They all know Joy Reid's a poser. They all know Joy Reid is inconsequential. But she's racist as hell. And again, I just go to this. We take Jamel Hill and all these other people so serious. I don't. I just laugh at them because I know who they are. I mean, unless you're willing to open your mind, free your mind, and the rest will follow. Boom, boom, boom. Be colorblind. Don't be so shallow. I think that's in vogue. I think. But anyway, that doesn't happen. See, we here at OutKick judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. I can't speak for everyone, but everybody I know seems to do that here. And boy, oh boy, does that piss people off. You know what we want? We want equal but special. That's right. You want equal but special. I want equal treatment, damn it, but you can't fire me. I was just having a conversation with my boss about who he can fire and who he can't. We're just laughing. Dan, I got this. Why is everybody talking about the KKK all of a sudden? Well, it's a talking point. They're trying to make out any white person that follows Donald Trump to be part of the KKK. This time it's Biden. Biden says KKK members took their hoods off when Trump was in office because they knew they had an ally in the office. Now remember, this is a guy that has given eulogies at KK members' funerals. Remember that. I'm just saying. Remember that. Let's see what we got here. Let's hear from the man.
Think of this. Every other time the Ku Klux Klan's been involved, they wore hoods so they're not identified. Under his presidency, they came out of those woods with no hoods, knowing they had an ally. That's how I read it. They knew they had an ally in the White House. And he stepped up for them.
How did he step up for us? Black wages were at an all-time high. The middle class to the lower class shrunk. How did he step up for him? That's just, so this guy, he can't even talk anymore. The dude can't even talk anymore, but that's the talking points. That's what he does. And that's all they got. So, Joe, tell us about your policies. So, Joe, tell us what you did. That's so great. Joe, and be honest. Now, see, the problem with Jersey Joe is you're never going to get the actual. You're never going to get the actual what happened because he's a lying fool. He is just a liar. That's it. Robert Byrd was a KKK member. Now, people are saying he was not the Grand Wizard. Robert Byrd was a longtime senator from West Virginia. Guess who gave the eulogy? Joe Biden. Now, I got to tell you, no. They're not. He did not be the Grand Wizard. Didn't say he wasn't in the KKK. There was talk that he was the Grand Wizard. No, it's really funny. It's really interesting. That's the new talking point. See, it was 2025. Remember that thing? Now it's the KKK. All you got to do, Camilla, is come out and tell us what your policies are. What are you going to do about inflation? Government spending equals inflation. What are you going to do? How are we going to solve that? What are we going to do about the border that you've had 3.5 years? Did you know that Joe Biden last night talked about no taxing on tips? He could do that right now. But they don't want to do that. They just saw that was a good move by Trump to get the middle class, people that are younger, voting. That's all. This is all a big scam. Whoever wins, I'm going to sit my fat ass right here and enjoy my last 20 years. I got 20 years, I figure. That's it. And I'll be doing this show till I die. That's it. I missed a story. I did. I missed a story because I'm kind of tired of the story, but I'm going to talk about the story in an upcoming leak on the documentary that's going to be released August 26th on Connor Stallions. We see how he created his game day sheet for the Wolverine football team. I propped my phone up, recorded myself doing every possible signal I could ever imagine, any signal I'd ever seen, any signal that we've done, any signal that any other teams have done, and any variation of that signal. Instead of memorizing words, I memorized pictures. I would say that is the number one reason why I became as good as I did at deciphering signals. Now, here's what's interesting about that. Why are you doing that if you've had no involvement with Sharon Moore or the other coaches? Can somebody explain that to me? Why are you doing that? If you have no involvement, which is what everybody said, no involvement whatsoever, then why are you doing that? I mean, you're telling me you have no involvement. I'm reading right here on where there has been no involvement, no interaction between Connor Stallions and the coaching staff on game day. Okay, why? What? Well, wait. Why are you practicing all these signals? You just practicing?